I'm a post-modern Swahili artist. And in postmodern, for anyone who might not get it, is basically if you come, for example, to the Swahili coast, all you meet is the present and the past. You don't see people focusing on who is the Swahili for the future. So that's what basically my focus is. Technically, as an artist, you can describe my style as Art Nouveau or avant-garde Arabesque because what I do is mix elements of the same in what I do. For those of you that might wonder what Art Nouveau is, take any currency of the planet. The artwork you see over there is generally what Art Nouveau is because I play around with the same shades. Avant-garde is basically a French word used to mean next frontier artist. So with Swahili, I see myself as a next frontier artist. Other than that, I'm also a EU TPAAE artist, which means transcultural perspectives in art and art education. When it comes to inspiration, it's a tricky matter for me because I don't take it the way a lot of people take it, whether the public or artists. And also, when it comes to another thing that I don't accept in art is being self-taught. You saw somebody do the art before you do it. So it's a teaching. It's either formal or informal. And if I can say what moved me to get into art is I grew up in Mombasa. I had, let me just put it this way, I had a lot of fun growing up as a kid. So, and it was also educative. It made me who I am. And so when I grew up after a while, to be precise, actually like 2 decades, I just needed to know what made me do what I wanted to do. So I just came back to revisit my childhood. And so I found out that the things that moved me to do this is there's a lot of culture in Mombasa. Every building has a date to it, has a history to it, and that kind of stuff. So it informs that inclination to creativity. You can see it in the arabesque doors that we have, or Lamu doors, if you like. You can see it in the windows. You can see it in the architecture. It's kind of being affected right now with modernity, but there's a lot of it. If you go through the old town and all the way to Lamu, you see this kind of stuff. So this is what moved me eventually to actually become an artist. The visual artist does not exist in Kenya's constitution. It's not even an insinuation. Let's start over there. A simple example. When I went to get my passport, I said I'm an art consultant. These guys were like, hakuna kitu kama hiyo Kenya. So they literally left my profession blank. Okay? So to just show you that institutionally, the artist is marginalized. You basically go into it because it's a calling more than a profession. But it actually is a calling more than a profession. But the institutional recognition is not there. And the major challenge with recognizing the artist in Kenya is that Kenya systemically, we are in a position where to do an average good job systemically, wherever is affected too much by corruption and kitu kikubwa as we know it and that kind of stuff. So literally, we have a big challenge to set up an art infrastructure. So the infrastructure is missing. And the middle class in Kenya, analytically, for me, leave alone the economic side of my life and my studies as an artist, you will find that in the last decade, the possibilities of the middle class paying more for your artist has been decreasing with every year. And the middle class is what supports the art. So these, I'd say, probably are the main challenges. But as artists, because creativity is our thing, we learn how to find ways to actually beat it. And that's basically what I'm about, whether systemically or as an individual artist. It's an interesting thing that in the society we live in, wherever you are on the globe, somebody is built by the community, and then they end up taking all the credit when something happens out of it. So I would say that my creative juices have really, really been spurred by the community. When I was away, I used to have ideas that I want to execute, such as these that we have up here today. But the circumstances of the cities I was in didn't quite help it. A longer part of that particular time, I being in Nairobi. But when I came back to Mombasa, I basically started doing art the way I always wanted to do it as a kid. So the community does influence. For me, the Mama Pima for Dambazi in the morning, people in their councils on Friday and that kind of stuff. Even the heat that is making me look very sweaty right now while I'm interviewing, all that contributes to what I do. There's even some pictures I usually actually put the degrees that it was that particular day. My pictures tend to entail a lot of detail. So sometimes I just take the temperature. Today is 33. That's why it's feeling hot and I actually put it in the picture. So everything contributes into who Mr. Green is. The training ground for a soldier, if you can't kill him, is just prepare him to go die in battle. So I would say that we are kind of like in a training ground that makes us superior soldiers, but in other places where it works. By the time we learn how to integrate the training ground with wherever we go and bring the benefits to the community, it will really make a difference. So I can't paint a picture of bleakness in the art. What I can probably say is the artists will and the creatives will probably be restricted, but the level on which they'll be doing it will really, really be on, you know, way above average and able to compete with anybody on the globe because of the training ground that they've been through. I mean, I'll give you a simple example. Tom Mboya's son. Recently, we had the situation with the president where some terrible statues was done of Eliud Kipchoge. If it was Eliud Kipchoge in the first place in Eldoret, because they had to remove it. But now the guy who did the statue for Tom Mboya is in America and did the super one at Nike's headquarters, okay? So that kind of stuff, I think we'll be seeing a lot of it. So we might have a lot of artists not necessarily representing their craft in Kenya because of the nature of the system. And they don't want to go out and be lobbying and do the stuff. They just want to be creating. So they probably will be doing it from another place, but representing the culture. I think we'll see a lot of that. Yeah.